When I first arrived at Gingerbread, I was 20 years old, and at the time my daughter was about 4.5, standing by my side. I was basically what you'd call sofa surfing, is what we call sofa surfing now. At that point when I came to the Gingerbread, I didn't have anywhere to stay and I didn't have anybody I could rely on. I had no education, no means of finance, and I was very low. I would say it was a very low point in my life. I had no self-confidence, no self-esteem. At that point I'd say I felt like I was worthless. And the worst thing that I remember was feeling like I didn't deserve to be a mum. I think at that point I was just so relieved to be able to stay somewhere, but knowing that I was safe and that people weren't going to come in and out, and I felt safe, and it sounds really daft, but it was really so nice to have a key to somewhere where you could go in and out and you were safe and your daughter was safe, and I could put my daughter to bed. And I remember I didn't sleep for a long time after that because I'd put my daughter to bed and I wouldn't be able to sleep. I think just because the anxiety and the fear that had come with how I was living. I spent a lot of time watching her sleeping, but knowing that we were safe. They helped with, clothing when we first went in. They helped us to get a school uniform grant at the time, I remember that. It's not here's somewhere to stay and that's that. It's they give you somewhere to stay, but at the same time they're boosting you all the time. It's not as easy as just provide accommodation. There's a lot more going on for people than first meets the eye. So when you first arrive at the door and you need somewhere to sleep, yes, anybody can give you a bed, but can they give you it's almost like unconditional support that you need and an understanding, so that you can then, when the doorway does open to opportunities, that you can then accept them and know that you deserve them. I think that's the difference between providing accommodation and providing opportunities. The individuals who live in the Gingerbread, they're no different to everybody else. And in fact, when they've had that platform and they've had the opportunities, what I like to think, and I quite often think about myself as well, is the amount that they go through and the amount of extra effort they have to put in is phenomenal. So they're so resilient, and and if you can get that skill set and harness that skill set, you've got a phenomenal individual there. If I hadn't have had the opportunity to come in the Gingerbread and that wonderful lady who did open the door for me, I don't actually think I'd be here today. I think my path would have been homelessness, substance misuse. I wouldn't have kept my daughter. I have no doubt about that. At that point I didn't have the skills to look after her, and I didn't have the emotional ability either. So I have no doubt if it wasn't for the Gingerbread, I would probably be. In fact, yes, I would. I'd be rough sleeping, I'd be on substances. I dread to think where my life would be without that opportunity that they gave me.